Feminine magnetism. This is the topic for day 12 of 14 Embodied Radiance activations here on IG Live with me, and I'm super happy to be on day 12. Oh my goodness. So for everybody who has been joining me these last 12 days out of our 14, thank you so much for following along. I hope that you're getting really great gems and nuggets out of every single day. This is my series of just gifting you this time of spring, during this time of spring, these beautiful practices of radiance to cultivate more aliveness, more joy, more beauty, more realness, more authenticity, more confidence in your life. And it's a series which is leading up to my Feminine Radiance retreat in Calgary. Oh my gosh, I get on a plane on Wednesday. The angel team is on ground, making sure that everything is all set up for us, including a really kick-ass sound system with really good bass so that we can have a day where we also get to dance and be in our bodies and celebrate what it is to be a woman. So I'm super, super excited for that. For those of you who can't join me in Calgary, all good. I'm going to start talking about feminine magnetism here now, which should be able to up-level your life in any way to be able to attract the relationships, the jobs, the opportunities, the experiences that you want and desire the most. I'm going to talk about that today. And as a little reminder that if you are commenting every day with your greatest takeaway, you also get entered to win one free ticket to Radiance Retreat, which is the Saturday, or you can choose a one-on-one coaching session with me as well. So super great grabs there. Yeah, Janet, we're going to miss you too, but we're going to see each other in May. Absolutely. Okay, so let's dive in. Feminine magnetism. Why I wanted to include this as a topic inside our Radiance activations is because once you start using these practices of radiance that I've shared with you, which include having a clean, clear body, a home for your spirit to dwell, to activate yourself with more pleasure, to be able to move your emotions, especially the thick and the heavy ones, so that you can feel more clear in your emotional body, so that you're starting to take more self-responsibility and leadership in your life for calling in the people that you want to surround yourself with, the things that light you up, the things that get you inspired. Now, the natural outcome that will evolve from this is that you will be more naturally magnetic. This is like a byproduct of all of the other 12 days. Yeah? What is feminine magnetism? The best way that I can explain this is through an analogy in nature. So there are elements in nature that naturally captivate us, where our eye often gets drawn to. Things that almost feel like they lure us in. Right? So even in this moment, as you think about nature, what are some of these things that really, like, you see a flower blooming, for example, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I just want to be close, right? Or right now I'm thinking about when I used to live in Thailand and Bali, the frangipanis. Oh my God, you know, these flowers, these little beautiful, sometimes they're pink, sometimes they're white with this little yellow inside. Oh, the scent of them is intoxicating. I'm thinking about going to Calgary soon, and in May is the Lilac Festival, where literally like thousands and thousands and hundreds and thousands and millions of these little blooms on the lilac start to create this fragrance that just naturally draws us in. And there's also one creature, which is the spider, who really embodies feminine magnetism. When you see a spider and she is sitting on her web, right, looking quite harmless, she's just there doing her thing, right? Weaving her web. It's in the sun, you know, maybe it's in the morning where there's little dewdrops there and you can see the sun shining through and the lighting up all of the rain, dew, water droplets that are just shining and shimmering, right? And the little insects are kind of just buzzing by this web, you know, checking it out. Wow, there's this beautiful light, right? What is this here? And this spider, she's not going out to catch anything. She's just doing her thing. She's weaving her web. Yeah, this is kind of feminine magnetism. You are in you, weaving your web, your universe, your world, doing your thing. And then she waits for that perfect timing when she then, this little insect flies by and then she goes, and then she gets it, right? Because it's landed in her web. And she didn't have to go out and hunt it in that way. She was able to magnetize it. So in our own life, if you want to play with this quality of feminine magnetism, notice what it can be like when you're really embodying yourself. You're not trying to go out there and get something outside of you. You're not trying to make things happen. You're allowing and being the full radiance that is you. And naturally, what will happen is that the things that you want to attract, people, opportunities, experiences, will naturally become magnetized towards you. Now, there's one more piece other than that, after that, which is that you have to be open to seeing it and receiving it. But we're going to talk about that tomorrow because many times something can appear right in front of us and we actually don't even see it because we're so conditioned not to, that there's no receiver, even when we've actually magnetized the thing that we want. So again, more on that tomorrow. But for right now, I want you to see if you can cultivate or tap into this feeling of magnetism like this black widow spider. Yeah, who's really just being the fullness of who she is. That is what will naturally magnetize what you want. And the thing is that whether you're conscious or unconscious of your magnetism, it's already happening. Right? So I speak to a lot of women who, especially inside Untamed, because we go really deep and we really break open and we share a lot during this experience. I had one woman in this last Untamed who was sharing with me that she was afraid to date because for the last years, as long as she could remember, she was only magnetizing relationships with unavailable men. Emotionally unavailable, often dating several women and just kind of having them hang on a little bit by a thread. And she was almost given up on dating. She's in her mid-30s because she's like, you know what? I'm just not attracting the right people. Anybody that I attract into my life is just stressful, creating pain. I'm anxious. I want to meet my man, So she had almost stopped dating. And then she came to Untamed. We did one session. And then she got so feeling alive and in her confidence that she's like, okay, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna start to date again and see how this is. Well, the first week, just by her feeling more confident in herself and saying, okay, I'm gonna put myself out there for me. Yeah, for herself. To be able to have that experience for her. Not necessarily to have to hook somebody or meet the right thing or to validate her own self-worth, but by simply putting herself in an experience or situation where she could explore that. Week 2 came by, she had a few dates. She was really nervous. Some of them went well, some of them didn't go so well. She's learning. But she keeps on putting herself out there. And as she worked on herself inside Untamed for the last 5 weeks, everything shifted. To the point where she was sharing that one day she was waiting for her date in a public place, just standing there like the spider, right? Just doing her thing. And there were men who literally came up to her in that moment and gave her their number. And she was like, what is happening? Who am I? What, to go from this woman who was terrified to date to being I'm just magnetizing people in the train station in the middle of the city. What? And anyways, the story goes on, but I'll leave it there for now. But she just saw this huge shift. And of course, the only thing that changed was her. She was no longer trying to get validation or approval from anywhere else other than from herself. Yeah, she wasn't seeking those experiences, hunting it, wanting it so bad that then everybody else can feel it. And then it's almost like, oh my gosh, now, her dates have to like create some space in between her and them because it's almost like overwhelming or too much to be in someone's like, I need you. I need you to feel good about myself. It's a whole different experience when you come with the fullness of who you are. That is what creates magnetism. So whether you're conscious of it or not, you are already magnetizing things into your life. It's just whether or not A, you're conscious of it, and B, it's actually what you want. So anytime that you see a pattern in your life also, I'm always unattracting unavailable partners, or they're always doing this, or I had a woman tell me like, my last 3 partners cheated on me. Like, what's happening? Okay, well, common denominator is you, right? So this is the empowering part, is that when we can see that I am the source of what I'm magnetizing in my life or repelling in my life, then we get to become more conscious of it. Anytime I work with a woman who says, I want to be able to attract, more emotionally available, mature partners, where are all the good men? There's no good men out there. I'm here doing all of my own work, so much self-development work, so much growth, but where are the men? Anytime I hear this, for me, it's such a moment of, but wait, is it true that there are so many emotionally unavailable men? Because, and I really seriously ask this question because this honestly has not been my experience in life. And we can say that, I've been lucky or, different things, but that's just not the pattern that I've magnetized. I have other things that I magnetize. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I definitely have patterns that I see, but that's not one of them. So when we always attract things, people, experiences from the vibrational quality that we have inside ourselves. So if I firmly believe that there are no good available men, guess what? There aren't. Because I've already convinced myself of that. So why would I ever magnetize something like that if I'm not even able to believe or see that it's there? Right? But if you do believe that and you start to turn it in and say, well, I am going to be emotionally available for myself. I am going to be fully committed and devotional to myself. I am going to remind myself that I am beautiful, smart, intelligent, creative, brave every day. I'm going to be that person for myself. Then guess what? You'll start to magnetize those experiences of people around you. It's just the way it works. So, feminine magnetism, day 12 of 14 days of embodied activations. And this is it. This is where a lot of the pieces that we've spoken about in the last days start to come together. Magnetism is a result of the last 12 days and the things that we've talked about. And life gets really juicy and exciting and powerful and fun and feeling so alive when we get to actively and consciously play with our energy. So, I'm going to share a little practice with you on magnetism. And all you need is a place where you can just be present for a moment. You can sit, you can stand. If you're outside or something like that, you can do this in a park. If you're driving, maybe not. Maybe come back to this later or just listen and you can play with this energy also, pretty much from wherever you are. So right now, just sit or stand in a way where you can really stay connected to your body. And if it's possible for you right now, then close your eyes and take a few deep breaths into your body. And notice right now your spine. Notice the vertebra of your spine, just stacking one upon each other so that you can feel really present in the way that you are in your body right now. Your spine is your staff of presence, part of your core. So notice where your spine sits in your body. Stay connected to this. Now, just for a contrast, as you sit or stand where you are, imagine that now you're wanting to go out and get something. Like your energy field is now reaching outside of you, wanting to grasp or get or hook, or like, I really need this to happen. This kind of feeling of going outside of yourself. And just notice where your body starts to move or sit. So for me, I often have this like outward movement, right? Like I'm off center now. I'm just trying to grab things outside of me. So notice what your internal movement is when you're wanting to get something outside of you. Okay, and now come back to yourself. Few breaths back into your spine. And now stay connected with your core spine, and we're going to imagine that your spine is like a magnet. And you know how a magnet has its positive side and its negative charge, right? So imagine that your spine has this magnetic quality to it. Like every breath, it starts to, your body kind of goes, right? It like opens, it expands a little bit. On the exhale, it kind of draws in, gathering the energy. Not letting it out or dissipate, but actually on the exhale, it's like this gathering of your energetic field. We'll do that for a little bit. So with each inhale, you feel this expansion of your body from the spine out. And as you exhale, it's almost like that energy is gathering back into your spine. Okay, now stay with this. We're doing like this little quickie practice right now. Those same things that you had wanted to, let's say, get in your life, experience, person, opportunity, rather than going outside of yourself like you did a few moments ago, stay with this magnetic quality of your spine and of your being. And with each breath, imagining the power of your magnet growing from the inside out. See how this is a different quality? You can still have the same longing and the desire, but no longer reaching outside of yourself, losing your magnetic center. Okay. And now, last piece, stay with your magnetic center, breath, feeling this magnetic pulse of your being, and then hold in your awareness that which you most long for. And it could be like, we're using relationship as an example, right? So I long for a deeply devoted partner to share my life with, for example. So hold that desire. You're allowed to have desires. But pulse with that as the magnet from the inside out. No reaching, no grasping, but just pulsing with that inside you. And now, rather than saying, I want this relationship as if it was outside of you, you turn it back in and say, I am my most devoted partner. I am my deepest beloved. Or whatever it is that you want to create in your life, turn that right around. It is already here. One more breath, magnetic breath from the core. And see if you can stay with this feeling even as you come back into your body, your time, wherever you are. Yeah? So I hope that that was helpful. Let me know how it is in the comments, whether you're live or afterwards. So as a quick little embodiment practice, just to share with you, like anytime that you're feeling like you are reaching outside of yourself to try and get something, come back to this magnetic core. Yeah, it will help you to remember that your power is actually within. And when you start to shift the vibration of your own being, everything outside of you changes. But it really, truly starts with your own inner work. It always does. Okay, so there you are. Embodied Radiance practice number 12. If you haven't caught the other daily activations, make sure that you go back on my feed, find them, and enjoy them. There's a lot of really great gems in there. Comment on here with your greatest gem or takeaway. I always love to hear any questions. Feel free to ask. If you are going to be in Calgary this Sunday, like clear your calendar. If you're not already coming to Radiance Retreat, it's going to be epic. It's going to be so good. We're going to be a smaller group than Wild Women Gathering. So there's going to be maximum like 35 or 40 of us. We're going to have lunch together. We're going to do these practices together. You're going to feel so alive, turned on, creative by the end of the day, in your power, in your magnetism, to be able to really bring this into your life. So make sure that you come, grab a friend. There's a bring a friend discount as well. And just DM me Radiance if you need the ticket link. It'd be a joy to see you there. If you're not able to come to Radiance, 2 things. So sister, I see Kareen here. Hey, love. We're going to do Yoni Temple workshop. We're going to do it. I know I was on the fence about it for a while, but there's enough of you asking that, okay, we're going to do it. So it's going to be Wednesday, May 15th in the evening. It's going to be a 4-hour workshop. You're going to get some preparation before and some integration after. It's going to be so good. So just DM me Yoni, YONI, if you want to be a part of this workshop. It's going to be limited space. We really just dive into the world of your pleasure. It's so delicious. So join me for that. Or Untamed. Oh my gosh, Untamed Wild Feminine 5-day retreat in Calgary. We've got level 1 and level 2 happening in May. It's so good. So if you're ready to really go all in on your radiance and your aliveness, make sure you DM me Untamed, and I will send you the details for that as well. Also happens in Zurich in the fall. Okay? So that's it for now. I hope that you love this. And tomorrow for day 13 of Radiance activations, we're going to talk about receiving. So important to know how to receive. And there might be many places where you don't even realize that you're not receiving, and the very thing that you want to magnetize is already here in front of you and you can't even see it. So tomorrow is an important one. Make sure that you tune in, same time, same place. Okay, thanks so much for being here. Bye for now.